Okay, so all other things being equal, we have fully digested issues about the 4-day books, namely the sales day book, purchases day book, return inwards day book, and return outwards day book. Now today we are looking at the next book of account, and that is the cash book. I think earlier we've said a few things about the cash book, but today we want to digest it fully and probably proceed on to preparing the cash book. So as you can see on the screen, the cash book is used to record cash and bank transactions, or better still, cash and check transactions. It is a book of account that is a day book, a ledger, and also an account. I think we have explored these points, that the cash book behaves first and foremost as a day book. It is also a ledger and also an account. The reasons are that it is a day book because it first records cash and bank transaction on daily basis, because we daily use it to record cash and check transactions. That makes it a day book. It is the prime book where we record cash and bank transactions. It is also an account because it has a debit side and a credit side. So the cash book has a debit side and a credit side. If you realize, the sales day book, purchase day book, return inwards and return outwards day books didn't have debit side, credit side. So that makes it different from the cash book. It is also a ledger because it keeps two accounts, and that is the cash account and the bank account. Now I have written here that the major underlying principle for preparing the cash book is debit all receipts and credit all payment. This principle is very important, so professor should note it. If you are preparing a cash book, you are looking out for two things: receipts and payment of cash or check. So basically at the cash book, is either you are receiving money, which may come in the form of cash or check, or you are making payment, which may also be in the form of cash or check. So we are saying that you debit all the receipts and you credit all payment. So for example, sold goods for cash. What it means is that we have sold goods and we have received cash. What are we going to do to our cash? We would have to debit it because that's a receipt. The other scenario is, for example, purchase a building with check. So we are making a purchase, which means we are making a payment with check. And for that matter, we need to credit our cash. So that's the principle you always have to apply when you are preparing your cash book. However, there are three types of cash books. And I would want one professor to read the types of cash book and take us to the first type. So let me call the first person, Inshira Ando. Inshira Ando, please, can you read the types of cash book for
us? Types of cash book. 1. The one or single column cash book. 2. The two or double column cash book. 3. The 3-column cash book.
Okay.
The 1-column cash book has only. Please, should I continue?
Yes, continue.
The 1-column cash book has only one amount column on the debit side and credit side. It is used when a business uses either only cash or only check in each transaction. It is shown as follows.
Thank you very much, Prof. insurer. Okay, so as she read it, professors, it is worthy to know that we have three types of cash. Three types. And interestingly, the names are very, they sound very interesting. One, the single column. Two, the double column. And finally, the three column. Or you can call them the one column, the two column, and the three column. The three column could also be referred to as triple column, right? Okay, so these are the types of cash books we have. Why do we have these three categories of cash? It's because each of them is prepared for a peculiar situation. So as you heard her read, the single column or the one column cash book, first and foremost, has only one amount column, right? On the debit side and the credit side. Why? Because this cash book is going to be used by businesses who either uses only cash or only check. Let me break this down. There are some businesses, they don't accept check. All their transactions are in cash. So whether they are making payment or they are receiving money, okay, it is cash. And I think you can attest to some of this. And when you go to the market, I'm not sure some businesses, you write a check to them and they'll say, okay, they don't accept check. All they do is in cash, physical cash. Most of our market women fall under this category of business. They don't accept check. I can imagine a Kaku seller receiving check. That sounds funny, right? When you go to the market, most of our market women or the traders there only transact business in cash, right? So they will fall under this type of cash book, right? There are also some businesses, they don't accept cash. All their transactions are in check. A typical example has to do with the loan companies. Most of the loan companies, you receive the loan in check, which is paid into your account. And when you are repaying the loan, you also pay using a check. Probably you write a check into your account, right? And the question is, which one is more suitable? Well, for the purposes of tracking your transactions, most businesses prefer transacting business with the check because then you have the bank as a third party. Okay, you can refer to. Cash transactions sometimes are not too conducive for tracking and auditing purposes, right? But well, for the choice, it depends on the business and what they want to do. So let's move on. So the single column cash book is actually prepared when you see that the business is only doing business with cash or is only doing business with check. Okay. So this is the format of the single column cash book. As I told you, the cash book has a debit side and a credit side, right? So you see, as usual, the left side is the debit side where you have your date, details, folio, and amount. Well, again, we would ignore the folio since I think I've hinted you about this folio. It's a reference column. We are not going to be doing a lot of referencing in our answering, right? So we would ignore that column. So it's basically date, details, and amount. Same on the credit side. Okay, so there's an illustration here for us, but I want us to look at the other column, the other types of cash books, so we can make sense of it. Okay, so let's go to the two column. I think I'll call on Prof. Zoe to read the two column cash book for us. Prof. Zoe, two column cash
book. Good morning.
Good morning.
The Two-column cash book. The two-column cash book has two amount columns, one for cash and one for bank, at both the debit side and the credit side. All cash transactions are put under the cash column, and all check transactions are put under the bank column.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, just picking the point from the first type of cash, which is the single column. This second column has two amount columns, where one is designated for cash and one is designated for bank. What does that tell you, professors? I just want to test your, because under the single column, we said that it is just one amount column, and it's used when the business is using either cash only or check only. But in the two column, we are saying we have two amount column where we have one for cash and one for bank. Why is it so? What is the rationale behind having the cash column and the bank column? And I'm giving you a tip. Okay, the tip is look at why the single column has just one amount column. Any idea?
Sir, please, can you repeat the question again?
Okay, so the question is, okay, why is the two column having the cash and bank columns? Okay, so Portia, let's say.
Sir, because it keeps record of cash and checks transactions.
Okay, that's true. But well, the reason why I asked this question is for you to borrow the idea of the single column cash book being prepared by businesses who are only using cash or only using check. So in this circumstance, under the two column cash book, it will be suitable for businesses who transact business using both cash and check. So this is a business that is ready to accept cash or ready to accept check, or their transactions can be done with cash or check. That's the point I wanted to elicit from you, professors. But I guess maybe I didn't ask the question well enough. Okay, so for the two column cash book, we are saying you now break the amount column into cash and bank, so that all the transactions that are cash related, you put them under the cash column, and all the transactions that are check related, you put them under the bank column. And I hope that is fair enough. Okay. Now let's look at the third one, which is the three column cash book. Then we'll play illustrations. So who to do this? Let me call King, Prof. King. Can you do the third column cash book and what you see here on the screen?
Three-column cash book adds a third column known as a discount column to both credit side and debit side. This discount is known as the cash discount. Cash discount is an allowance of a price to encourage prompt payment. Discounts allowed is allowance given to consumers or debtors by a business. Discount received is allowance given by suppliers or creditors. The discount allowed column is put at the debit side and discount received column at the credit side.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob, for that. So you see, it's like each of the type of the cash book is an updated version of the former, right? So for the single column, we just had one column, one amount column. The two column, you divide that amount column into cash and bank. The three column, we are saying you add a discount column. Why this discount? Because in transacting businesses, okay, sometimes you want the person to pay promptly, right? So key term is prompt. I don't know if you have experienced, there are some people, they tell you, if you pay today, it's 10 cedis. If you pay next month, it's 20 cedis. What does that mean? It means if you pay promptly today, you are getting some reduction. But if you choose to defer to the next month, you pay higher. So that is the cash discount. It is an allowance that is given to encourage prompt payment. They come in twofold: discount allowed and discount received. To the business, discount allowed is an allowance that the business is giving to customers or debtors. And then the discount received is what the business is also getting from its suppliers or creditors. Okay, so we introduce this discount allowed and discount received columns. Now, having said this, then Professor, it should tell you that each question, okay, would guide you to the type of cash book you have to prepare. As a matter of fact, the question will not ask you to prepare 3-column or 2-column or single column. But as you read the details of the transactions, you should be able to determine that, oh, for this transaction, I have to prepare the single column or the 2-column or the 3-column. And I think we have established those points here. If the transactions are one that is giving you cash, okay, only cash transactions, then you'll be directed to prepare a single column cash. If the transactions are one that you see cash and check, then you are guided to opening the 2-column. If you see the sense of a discount, okay, then you are guided to prepare the 3-column cash book. Okay, please, any question before we continue? Any question? Okay, there are no questions. So let's look at the first illustration, which was about the 1-column cash book, and see how we can cash. Okay, so we have here, prepare the cash book of Ronaldo Limited for the month of May 2018. You have first started business with 19,000 cash. On the second, received a loan from Philips, 1,700 cash. On the fifth, bought goods on credit from Dominic, 1,850. And then 10th, bought motor van, 12,500 cash. Then you have the next one, sold goods for cash, 10,000. So professors, reading the transaction, you are getting the impression that all are on the basis of cash, except on the fifth, which was goods bought on credit, right? Now let me get your opinion on that transaction before we even continue. Bought goods on credit from Dominic. Would it be in the cash book?
No, please.
Okay, Portia says no. I want more opinion. Portia says no. Do we all agree to the no? Okay, I guess the silence means we agree. So yes, it will not be in the cash book simply because this is a credit transaction. It doesn't involve cash or check, right? Okay. So this transaction will be ignored when you are preparing the cash. Let's look at how you prepare this cash book. So you set up your cash book like this. Okay, I think you can see it here. So for you, you'd rule your lines in your exercise book, right? So I think you can see them. the title cash book. Then this is your debit side, date, details, amount. Your credit side, date, details, amount. Now, the point I gave you was that you debit all receipts and you credit all payments. So first of all, let's go to the first transaction, which says started business with 19,000 cash. Honorable professors, if you see this transaction, is it a receipt by the business or a payment by the business? I think I'll call people to respond to this. Eugenia, if you see the transaction started business with 19,000 cash. So the question I'm asking is the business receiving the cash or the business is making payment? Prof. Eugenia, are you available? Okay, let me speak to Prof. Abubakar. Prof. Abubakar, is this transaction telling us that the business is receiving money or paying money?
Oh, sir, please, the business is receiving money.
Exactly, that is very true. The business is receiving money from the owner, right? Because if the owner is starting business, what it means is that the owner is investing into the business. So he's giving something to the business. And for that matter, the business is receiving. So this is a receipt. And per the principle, we have to debit this receipt. So it's always important for you to determine whether this is a receipt or a payment, because then that will guide you to do your debit or credit. Let's go to the second one, which is received a loan from Philip. This one is straightforward, right? The business received a loan, so it's a receipt. We have declared this transaction as unworthy to be in the cash book, right? Because it's a credit. Having said that, if it's not going to be in the cash book, which book would it be? Both goods on credit from Dominic. Which book? Sorry. Which day book should this transaction be? I think I'll call now them on this. It's Sophie providing both goods on credit from Dominic. Which of the day books should this transaction be?
Simply the purchasing day.
Exactly, the purchases day book. Thank you very much. Which I hope it's the same thing. Wanted to say. Okay, so that one is not coming here. Then we have bought motor van, 12,000 cash. Bought motor van. Professor, this is a payment, right? Because the business is going to make payments to buy the motor van. And then you have the last one, sold goods for cash. You are selling goods and you are receiving cash. So that's a receipt. So let's then go ahead to record it, right? So you have your cash book here, right? The first transaction, which is 1st May 2018. So that was started business. And you know that anytime you start business, the details will be capital. So 1st May 2018, capital, we put the amount there. And that's a debit because it's a receipt. The second was on the 2nd of May 2018. That's the loan from Philip. We received the loan. So you put the date, the details will be loan, and the amount is written there, 1,700. Then we had on the 10th, on the 10th, yes, on the 10th, because the 5th transaction is off, bought motor van. So this is a payment. So this one needs to be credited in your cash book. So the 10th May 2018, the details will be motor van. We purchase a motor van, 12,500. Then we have 15th, sold goods for cash. So there's a receipt that should be debited. Okay, so you debit receipt, you credit payment. Now let me use my pen to demonstrate this for you so that professors don't get confused. so that, but I'm sure you can be comfortable in drawing this in your exercise, but I need to demonstrate how. So in your books, you would have, okay, I think Portia has a question. Portia, let me finish this and I'll get back to you. So in your book, this is how probably your cash book would look like, right? The debit side, the credit side. So you have a column for date, details, and then the amount, right? And you do the same at the credit side, your date, details, and amount, right? So the title will be here, cash book. I didn't my handwriting. Okay. So as you read the first transaction, which was about amount received from the owner as capital, right? You put the date here, which I think we saw 1st May, and the details was capital, right? Then you put the amount there. So that's how, if you are doing it in your exercise book, it should be, right? Okay, Portia, may I hear your question?
Sir, please, it's not a question. Augustine said he cannot hear you actually.
Oh, but can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, then it seems probably Augustine is having some network hiccups. So Augustine, unfortunately, sorry, but try and do something about your speaker. If not, you may have to rely on the videos when I share after the class. Okay, so professors, that is it about the single column kind. Okay, so we'll look at the second illustration, which is about the 2-column kind. So let me read the question, and I think we can make meaning of it. And then, so prepare the cash book of Rahina to Limited for May 2018. Here you have first, started business with 8,000 cash, received a loan from Philip 7,000 check, bought goods with cash from Dominic, bought motor van 2,500 cash, sold goods for check. And then you have deposited cash of 500 into bank account. So you appreciate that this group of transactions is giving you cash and check, signals, right? So then you would have to prepare the 2-column cash. If you had seen a discount, then you could have been led to the 3-column cash. But here it's only the cash and check without any discount. So in preparing the cash, this is how it will look like. Again, you have your debit side and your credit side, but you see that now we have a column after the details. We have a column for cash and bank, and then a column for cash and bank on the credit side. So that's the difference between this and the single column. But the principle is the same. When you receive, you debit. When you pay, you credit. But here, watch out so that you don't put a cash transaction under the bank column or vice versa. Okay, great. So I think we'll continue with this illustration in the next section. If there are questions, professors, let me listen to you. Question. Okay, there are no questions. So let me sum them up before we resume in there. So the cash book is used to record cash and check transactions, right? There are 3 types: the single column, the double column, and the triple column. We can also call them the 1 column, the 2 column, the 3 column, right? And we have established that the 1 column is used when the transaction is on cash basis only or on check basis only. And I've demonstrated to you why that can happen. There are some businesses that don't accept check. There are others too, they don't accept cash. They only transact business in cash or in check. And then we spoke about the 2 column where the business is accepting cash and accepting check. Then we need the 2 column. The issue about 3 column comes in when there is a discount, and we have seen discount to be an allowance that is given for prompt payment, specifically cash discount. You should be able to differentiate between this and the trade discount, right? The trade discount is given for bulk purchases when you are buying in bulk, right? But the cash discount is given when you are paying promptly. And the financial accountant acknowledges the cash discount. In other words, in the books of account, you see accounts for cash discount, namely discount allowed and discount received. The trade discount is only, adjusted in the day books and it ends there. But the cash discount, we open the discount allowed and discount received and do the appropriate debit and credit. Okay, so professors, let's meet in the next session. We'll look at the remaining illustration, and then maybe I'll talk about an important term you may come across under the discussion of cash, and that will be contra entries or contra transactions. So see you in the second session.